Billions of people in the world today don't even know the name of Jesus. Thousands die every day without any hope of a better life, of life after death, or of any peace in this life with Jesus. A friend of mine was a missionary in a very remote area. He'd been there for many years, and he knew the language and the culture of his people very well. And one day, he was on a trek deep in the mountains. He was about 3 days, if I remember right, about 3 days hike into the interior. And as the sun started to set, he came to a little village on the side of a mountain, and he decided to spend the night there. The village gladly accepted him into their, actually they put him up in the chief's house. The whole village crammed into the house to see this white person. They'd never seen a white person before. And unlike where I have worked as a missionary, where people are very, very scared, in that place, everybody got together. They wanted to see him. They wanted to talk with him. And like I said, he knew the language and the culture very well. So he was immediately able to talk with them and to talk with them in a way that they understood, which can be a challenge even if you know the language. It's really important to learn the culture as well. So he decided to take advantage of the opportunity, kind of a captive audience, to start talking about Jesus and especially kind of tell the story of the great controversy. And so he started all the way back at the beginning of what we know as the Great Controversy, and about how the rebellion happened in heaven and how Satan and his angels were cast out of heaven, came to this earth and became the spirits and the demons that these people lived with every day, that they lived in terror of every day, and how God sent his own son. He came himself and died to free them from those spirits that rule their lives and they're so afraid of. And then how very soon he was coming back to take everybody who believes in this Jesus, take them to heaven, take them to a place where there is no more pain, no more suffering, no more death, no more fear, no more hunger, no more sickness. The people were fascinated. The missionary told me that it was kind of his best success story, that like in one night, the entire village wanted to become Christians. He wasn't quite ready for that. Needed a little bit more time to work with them and to bring them to maturity in their faith. But that particular night, it's starting to get late by this point, and people started to drift back to their own homes. They were kind of tired, but one wizened old grandpa still sat there next to the missionary. He was pretty old by the time the news about Jesus came to his tribe, and he had never heard anything like this before. And he was having a really hard time just wrapping his mind around these new concepts. But as is so often the case with animistic peoples, he really was very, very spiritually sensitive, and he felt the power. He felt God's power, and he felt that it was a good power behind what the missionary was saying. And so he continued just trying to understand what the missionary was saying. And the missionary, as long as there's one person still listening, kept on talking until he noticed that the old man started to shake. And great tears started to roll down his eyes, and he started to cry, and he said, "Oh, what is wrong with me and with my people?" And the missionary kind of got surprised. He said, "Well, what do you mean, Grandpa? What do you mean what's wrong?" And the old man said, Well, how long have you known about this Jesus?" And the missionary said, "Well, I've known about him all my life." "Well, what about your father? Did he know about this Jesus too?" "Well, yeah, my father knew about Jesus too." "Well, what about his father, your grandfather? Did he know about this Jesus too?" The missionary said, "Well, he didn't understand everything quite the same way that I do, but yes, he knew about Jesus too." And again, the old man, he started to cry and cry. He said, "Oh, what is wrong with me and with my people? What is our sin? What is wrong with us? All my life I have lived in terror of these spirits, never knowing that there was a Jesus, never knowing that there was a way to live in peace. Just a few years ago, my father died screaming as the spirits literally tortured him to death. Why didn't anyone come sooner, before he had to die like that, without any hope of living again, of going to heaven when Jesus comes back again? So many generations of your people have known about this Jesus. Well, so many generation after generation of my people have died, never knowing that there was any other way." And again, he kept asking, "What is wrong with me and with my people?" He wasn't accusing the missionary of doing anything wrong. He thought that there must be something inherently wrong with them, that nobody would come and tell them. I mean, if somebody knew this, why wouldn't they come and tell somebody who didn't know about this Jesus? But what could the missionary answer? My friends, was there anything wrong with them? Was it their fault that they didn't know about Jesus? No. They had no idea that there was such a person as Jesus, that there was any other way to live or to die. My friends, the question comes back to us. How often do we allow the things of this world, even just the normal things of earning a living and putting our kids through school and just living and surviving, how long will we allow these things to distract us from the one task that Jesus gave us as Christians to do? He taught us many things about how to live the Christian life, but he left us one job to finish in his last words before he went back to heaven, and that is to make disciples of every ethnicity, every people group on earth. And again, there are billions of people today who have no knowledge of Jesus. Thousands of people die, just like that old man, never knowing that there's another way. What will you do to make sure that the next generation can't look back and ask, why did nobody come and tell us?